Good afternoon to everybody and welcome to the 167th edition of the Global Weather and Climate Report, live here from a chilly and snowy Mark Vaughan weather here in Edmonton, Ross-shire. How is everybody doing? Happy New Year once again. It's hard to believe that we are now into day 4. Oh, thanks. Into day 4 of the new year already. It is really quite remarkable to think about that. But a warm welcome and hope you are enjoying your weekend. Back to the grind once again for myself tomorrow. I've enjoyed some days off and some relaxation. I must admit it has been pretty welcome. And, the timing of the cold and the snow has all came about pretty well, I think, as well. Have you got any snow out there, or have you just seen clear blue skies, perhaps frosty nights and whatnot, or are you more fortunate, like myself, to see a good covering of snow out there at the moment here? So let me just quickly click on to the live chat and see what everybody is saying today, and we will look through the upcoming week of weather as well and see what prospects we have with regards to wintry conditions. So just bear with a little second and I'll get myself organised here. We've got 23 concurrent viewers at the moment here, so thanks for tuning in, and also be sure to hit that like button. It would be greatly appreciated. The first live stream of 2026 already. So, who was the first person? Soft Shallow was on first and foremost. I've just lost my track there. 2 wee seconds here. Sorry, I'm very well organised as usual. Wouldn't be a live stream without being disorganised. But I do believe Soft Shallow 7435 was on first. Hi Mark, hope having a great Sunday. Yeah, I'll show you a little video clip in just a second. Not that long back, my good lady and I went out to get a little bit of insulation for the pipes outside, because last winter we had a bit of a frozen pipe issue due to the cold. Around about this time last year, funny enough, we got into the grips of a fairly substantial cold spell. You know, it wasn't massively long-lived, but nevertheless, the temperatures did drop to minus 10.6 here at the house, the lowest since my weather station has been online, which will be 3 years on the 8th of January. So a very short period of record, but nevertheless, going to be very interesting to see how cold it gets with this current cold spell. William McKendry, tune in from Allness. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. Take care in this weather. Thanks a lot, William and Catherine. Cheers. So, yeah, hope you are both well. I hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year, William over in Allness. And we've got Kyle Farrow 6495, probably the wrong pronunciation. I do apologise for that, but nevertheless, you'll understand what I'm getting at. Hi Mark, give me some good news for snow in Nottingham in the coming days. Yeah, we will have a look at that and see what prospects. That random guy tune in as well. Hello to yourself. I want the low to track a little further north so I in Bradford can get some snow. I haven't had any just yet, just cold weather, says them. And tuning in from a very snowy and cold and blustery Braemar and Crathy area of Aberdeenshire, we've got our very good friend of the channel, Chris Booth, tuning in. Good evening, afternoon. I suppose it is kind of evening time now. But good afternoon to yourself, my friend, and thanks for letting me share one of your videos from yesterday as well. If I can remember, I'll try and share that video in today's stream. Soft Shallow 7435 saying, if that happens, that random guys, then us in the Midlands might get rain. Yeah, the further north system tracks, the more chance that you may pull in something warmer. It looks as if at the moment, we will look at the models, it looks as if the system will track a little bit further south. I think the cold air will kind of help deflect that system that's moving in off the Atlantic. And that was mentioned back last Wednesday, in fact, about there was 3 options on the table with regards to the weather for this upcoming work week. Lindsay's just tuning in next door. Thanks for your ongoing support to Lindsay. And that random guy says, Mark, all I have seen is a low of minus 6.4 or minus 6.5, sorry, with no snow. Chris Braemar, Ballard, D-side and Donside weather saying widely 30 to 40 centimetres of snow in that area, especially Tom and Towel, which is over 50 centimetres. In fact, this is the current snow depth according to the latest information. This was posted on Facebook by the Met Office 3 hours ago, and you can see here Tom and Towel sitting at 52 centimetres. Durris, 31 centimetres. Loch Liscarnock, 27. Aboyne, 25. So the kind of usual suspects from a northerly airflow has lucked out with regards to the snow. There's about 4 inches of snow, or about 12 to 13 centimetres of snow lying on the ground. We had a coating the back half of New Year's Day, and then during the overnight period we got an additional 3 to 4 inches of snow, and it's basically stuck around now. Actually, the car hasn't moved in the last 4 days, so I did a bit of a job there trying to clear all the snow off for heading back to work tomorrow evening. And I'll tell you what, that snow out there is so powdery, so fine. And I said that to my wife as well, that usually after 3 or 4 days, the snow becomes a bit wet, it becomes a bit heavy. Not at all. And it shows you, pure Arctic air mass, the moisture level is much lower. That powdery fluff element of the snow is good. I must admit, the streets are still, that snow is still remaining very powdery out there. And I think that's going to be the case through much of this week. Now, we may get milder air moving in for a period of time before more cold digs in from the north here, but we'll wait and see what happens anyway. Turbo Stream tuning, good afternoon to yourself. Paul Farwell also. Turbo Stream saying good afternoon from a still snow and ice laden Birmingham. So yeah, Birmingham have gotten some snow thanks to that northwesterly component to the flow coming through the Cheshire Gap between the Pennines and North Wales, allowing a covering of snow there. I did go live yesterday, and then in previous days I went live on Facebook as well as Twitter, showing the snowy scene here from Marfogan Weather HQ. Paul Farwell saying, good afternoon, Mark. Happy New Year to you and the family. Very cold in Swindon, barely above freezing, snow showers in the forecast. Good afternoon to Paul James as well and Stephen Lane. So we've got plenty of folks tuning in, which is great to see on this first live of 2026. We've got, so Paul saying, good afternoon, Mark. Sorry, just about to repeat that there. I've already read that one out. Sorry about that. Stephen Lane saying we have a good, we've got about 1.5 inches of snow on the ground in Rowley Regis in the West Midlands, and it's just been barely above freezing today. I think 0.6 was the maximum here at Marfogan Weather HQ. The temperature, actually, I was surprised at this. The temperature dropped to minus 6.5 during the overnight period. Now, when my wife and I went to bed at kind of about midnight-ish, the temperature was bouncing at around 0 Celsius because of that brisk breeze coming in from the north-northwest. But the overnight period, I think the winds had dropped out for a period of time. And obviously when you've got a good covering of snow cover, you then see the temperatures dropping very sharply. And I think that's going to happen in the nights to come, including the upcoming night also. So we've got the soft shallows saying still got snow on the ground from a dusting on Friday night. So again, just emphasises the point. We've got the colder in place. We're not really seeing much in the way of thaw or melting. And that, I think, is going to be the case through a good part of this week. Even down in the far south and southeast, most areas are struggling to get above freezing despite sunshine as well. And then obviously when the sun sets, you get those winds dropping out. The temperature very, very quickly drops like a stone. Good evening to Keith Johnson, 4414. Good afternoon, Mark, from flake-free Wicklow. So yeah, hopefully other areas will get in on the snow in the coming days as well. Robert Cantor, tune in. Wow, just look at the snow in your area, Mark. Wish I was there instead of at the Snow Starved South, watching the precipitation moving down from the northwest of Wales, just fizzle before it gets further south. Yeah, that is the only downside. And I think Paul James as well, saying that they're missing out in snow. I think just to the north of Paul, I think he's got some snow. I can't remember whether it's north, east or west of Paul's area, but I know they've missed out in the snow. Good afternoon to Lisa as well. It's good to see Lisa tuning in. Not a problem for tuning in a little bit later. Lisa, you've not missed an awful lot. We've just literally just been having a little chit chat amongst ourselves. Got the JFP45. Hi Mark, do you think Mid Wales will get snow to lower levels? I do think so, to be honest. Again, we'll look at the models in a little second, because I have to be honest with you, I've not actually been looking at the models all that much over the past few days. A massive thank you to Braemar, Ballarton, D-Side and Donside Weather for a $9.99 donation. That is very, very generous. You're always so kind, Chris, so thank you for that, my friend. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you once again to everybody for their fantastic support throughout 2025 and in the years previous as well. I know there's been a lot of people here that have been tuning into the channel for quite some time. This channel is now going into it's now into its 16th year, which is pretty hard to believe. The website has been around for 16 years as well, and continue to provide this content day by day. So anyway, without mumbling on anymore, let's have a quick look at a video that I captured not that long ago from a rather snowy Loch Glascarnock. So you can watch this back at your leisure. It is on the channel, but I'll play this quickly through anyway, and we'll see what I said earlier on. Gives me a chance to eat my soup.
Good afternoon to everybody. It is Sunday the 4th of January and I'm standing at Loch Glascarnock, one of the coldest places in the UK, and we've got about, close to a foot of snow on the ground. So the winter spell that was expected even at the end of November is now here, fully entrenched within the UK pattern. We did see temperatures down close to -10 at Benson, Oxfordshire last night. And we have a renewed amber warning Sunday into Monday, northwest Highlands. So this part of the country, this is the main A835 between Inverness and Allpool. Like I said, there's about a good 8 to 12 inches of snow on the ground. There's the famous Loch Glascarnock weather station over there. I wouldn't be surprised over the coming week that we see temperatures into the teens below freezing here. That's not really unusual when you get an Arctic air mass and you've got plenty of snow on the ground. But over the last 3 days or so here, really since the turn of the new year, we've been seeing frequent snow showers blowing in on that north-northwesterly Arctic flow that has built up the snow across the north. But we are going to see that second option in the ideas that I produced back Wednesday last week in the January Outlook of weather systems trying to come in off the Atlantic. And what that's going to do is instead of just wiping out the cold, it's going to increase the chance of moisture and system snow to other parts of the UK. Remember, up until now, we've not really had much in the way of system snow. It's just been convective showers coming in on that northerly flow. But what we're going to do is we're going to introduce Atlantic weather. That's going to increase the chance of seeing snow. So we've got another amber warning, this region and into Aberdeenshire, Tayside, Perthshire, Angus over the next 24 36 hours or so. But there's other parts of the UK as well, parts of England and Wales, going to increase the chance of seeing snow over the next 3 to 5 days or so as well. But in the clear slots, with light winds, clear skies, and especially with snow-covered ground, we're going to see temperatures well into double digits below freezing. So like I said, Benson down to -9.6 this morning. I think we're going to see plenty of cold nights. Temperature currently here is -5 on the dashboard, just past 1:30 in the afternoon. So standing in a rather chilly Loch Liscarnock in Ross and Cromarty. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and join me at 4 p.m. this afternoon.
Okay, so that was a video that I captured around 1:30, 1:45 this afternoon. Now this is quite a relatively high location, quite exposed as well, but it's inland enough. You tend to get some very low temperatures. Temperatures can quite often be the lowest anywhere within the UK in this part of the world, which is about 30-ish miles to the west-northwest of where I'm based. But so yeah, Dubster 1961 saying that, hi Mark, hopefully we'll get some snow later this week here in East Suffolk. Currently it's +1 Celsius. We've got Robert Cantor saying, I've already said that comment as well, so sorry about that. But we've got Thomas Taylor 4248 saying, do you think Glasgow will get any snow? I do think there is a possibility, Robert, or Thomas should I say, I don't know where I got the Robert from. So let's have a quick look at the models then and see what the folks, what we can see cooking in the models here. So let's go into the weathercharts.com and see. This can be quite slow, so hopefully we can get these charts to move on as a hope. So this is off the ECMWF model. Again, that northerly flow that's been stuck in place really since New Year's Day. And there's been a little bit more of a kind of northwesterly component to it. We initially were quite northerly, then it turned more northwesterly. So that was allowing other places to catch the snow. Now, even Great Yarmouth, let's quickly go into Facebook for a second here, because Great Yarmouth had a good covering of snow on the coast of Norfolk there over the past day or so. We'll also look at the broader picture. Look at this here of Great Yarmouth, obviously the main road along the waterfront there. This is from Extreme Weather, so quite a decent covering of snow right on the Norfolk coast. Now we do have another amber warning in place. Now this is off the Met Office for 1800 today through 10 o'clock tomorrow, and you can see the areas that are highlighted here. So if we zoom in, you can see here again that northwesterly flow. The main areas are up the west and north portions of Highland Scotland, and incorporating parts of interior Inverness-shire, Murray, Aberdeenshire into Angus, and doesn't look as if it's heading much further south than that. So that's going to be from 6 o'clock this evening through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning in terms of further heavy snowfall. So if we go back to the weather charts, you can see here if we play it through, and we've got this area of low pressure, two areas of low pressure, one between Shetland and Norway, the other over the central portion of the North Sea. That can enhance the snowfall as well. And then you can see here, continuing to see this northwesterly feed. Now notice here a little subtle change as we head towards later tomorrow and into Tuesday. We've got a couple of little features that are drifting down from the northwest, introducing something slightly less cold. But you can see here that there's likely enough cold air still within that feature to bring snowfall to other parts of Scotland as well as across parts of northern England with this system. So you can see here off the ECMWF model, that system is slowly drifting down the eastern side of Scotland into the North Sea. And then even further south, we may pick up on some wintry precipitation, and then it moves into the near continent and brings snow to parts of northern France, likely through the Paris area, as well as Belgium, Netherlands, into central and north Germany, for example. Then we get this little ridge of high pressure showing up. You can see here, and with the isobars opening up, clear skies, cold air in place, lighter winds, and with snow-covered ground, we could see the temperatures dropping to what I suspect may approach the -15 to -20 Celsius range if you can get this little bump in the isobars and you get just the right conditions moving in. Now, notice here that as we move towards Wednesday, this is the back half of Wednesday, 18 UTC, you can see another system moving in from the west here. Again, you look at all the purples representing wintry precipitation. So albeit you could say to yourself, that's the weather systems coming in from the Atlantic. So out goes the cold air. Not necessarily. We've still got a lot of low-level cold air in place. So essentially you introduce moisture into that cold air and you increase the chance of seeing further snow. So we do have plenty of opportunity for snow in areas that haven't seen it already. For example, most of the UK, has to be said, really, it's northern portions. And then we need to watch this system here approaching, moving through the channel. Now, the latest run of the ECMWF has this system moving essentially up through the English Channel. And on the north side of it, there's where the snow is breaking out, because we've got the cold air in place. If we put on the 850 temperatures here, let's have a look at the 850s and see what. Now, these are model runs I haven't seen yet, so we're kind of looking at this together with regards to the overall outcome. But you can see here we still have plenty of cold air in place. It's important where that track of the low is. Further north, that means that more southern areas will be in the milder air, likely heavy rainfall. The further south it goes, yes, you may miss out in the snow but stay in the cold air, or you might be in that sweet spot where you've got the cold air in combination with the precipitation to then see some significant snow. So let's have a look and zoom in. In fact, let's quickly look at the GFS run then and see what it is showing regarding the overall outcome this upcoming week here. But the cold is not disappearing anytime soon. I think, areas that have snow, areas that have snow are likely to hold on to snow. The further north you go, we might be still talking about a very healthy snow cover all the way out to this day next week. And I'm keeping an eye on a couple of records with regards to, I think in the 3 years that I've had my weather station, I've recorded 6 consecutive days with snow on the ground. I think I'm already entering the 4th day come tomorrow. So that record is going to get blown out of the water for sure in the coming days with regards to the lying snow. But you can see here off the GFS, let's go to the overview chart and see what it's showing. Go back to the current situation here. So again, those 850 temperatures are pretty low, as you can see here. And we've been seeing the wintry showers just continue to pile in from the northwest over the past few days. It's actually been a pretty consistent pattern really since Thursday of last week. So you can see here off the GFS model, there's that area of low pressure, close enough that it is creating a little bit of a kink in the isobar. So we've got this enhanced snow shower activity coming in from the northwest during the overnight period tonight and into tomorrow morning. So again, further snow showers will come in. Then we've got this system coming in from the northwest. Again, we may get a little bit of a mixture of sleety snow, possibly a little bit of rain mixed in as well. If we put on the 850 temperatures here and see what it's indicating, see it's just slightly less cold. But I think we still can support snow even down close to sea level with this system. It's not introducing mild enough air that we just go flip back to liquid precipitation. Now, this is interesting. This is off the GFS. Remember, we just looked at the ECMWF, and we have this little flirt with something less cold coming into Ireland and then grazing the south of Wales, southwest England. The majority of the UK remains in firmly cold air. Remember as well that these are the 850 temperatures. Down at the surface, it's going to be colder than that because that cold, dense air sinks to the surface. You could moderate the air mass in the mid-levels, for example, but down at the surface, there is still a lot of cold air that will not really get kicked out of the way. We don't have a fundamental push of mild Atlantic air to get rid of this pattern. Now look at this here. This is this late week solution of the GFS. And you can see here that we are seeing the center of the low. Remember, the important aspect is where that center comes in. You can see here colder air. Once it starts to move over Ireland, it's actually pulling some very cold, low-level, dense air in around the center of that low. So it's actually cooled off, if you notice here, between this frame, which is midnight Friday morning, into the next frame, which is 6 o'clock on Friday morning. You can see here that the center of the low has actually seen temperatures coming down. Then as we move through the course of Friday here, the center of that area of low pressure is crossing over North Wales, the North Midlands. But notice here that we've got the colder air getting entrained within that circulation here. So I think we could definitely start to see some interesting snowy threats, particularly during the middle to the latter half of the upcoming work week. And then you can see here colder air getting drawn down as that system pulls into the North Sea, if you notice here. Then continue to play through, and we have another system coming in from the Atlantic. And again, once you're talking a week away, really it's very, very difficult to pinpoint. You notice here again that we've got the milder air starting to kind of show its hand across central and southern UK. Again, the cold air still holding on further north, but there's an area of low pressure that's interesting here to the northwest. So that position of low may try to pull something slightly milder further north, but again, 850 temperatures are marginal, if you notice. So let's have a quick look and see what the models are showing in terms of snow cover with this upcoming 5-day period. So let's look at the snow depth. We'll go back to the current period here and look at the UK in general, and definitely over the continent. Paris, for example, likely to see a decent covering of snow through this upcoming work week. Into the near continent, so Netherlands, Belgium, into parts of Germany as well, we're going to see some snow off and on threats over the next few days here as these little features come in on that northerly flow. Now, as we go through the course of tomorrow, notice the snow over Wales, notice the snow into the Midlands here. Not a huge amount, but nevertheless, it's showing it a little bit over Sussex, north of London, East Anglia as well, showing up southwest Ireland. Again, very marginal if you notice here. But as we continue to play through to the middle portions of this week, it's still not overly enthusiastic away from Scotland. Even through the central belt, it's not picking up an awful lot of the GFS. Then it increases as we move into Thursday. And then as we move into Friday here, remember that system coming in, again, depends on whereabouts that centre of the low moves through. But you can see here that we're seeing an increased threat over parts of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and Northern England, if you notice here, the GFS. And then continue to play through and seeing a decent amount really from about Stoke-on-Trent, generally between just north of Birmingham really, North Wales, possibly the north of East Anglia as well. We're seeing a covering of snow generally to the north of that corridor there, and then continue to play it through. Again, there's more systems that are going to try and come in from the west here, but again, we're talking about Tuesday the 13th of January, so that's a week out on Tuesday. It's a long way off. Let's go and have a look at the ECMWF model with regards to this as well. You can see here that through the course of today, the ECMWF tends to be a wee bit overcooked with regards to the snow, both in cover as well as depth. But you can see here that the ECMWF is really starting to show a decent amount of snow across Wales, a few centimetres across a good part of the Midlands here, southwest England, East Anglia, and then as we play through, now this is in Tuesday, even around London, south of London, north of London, particularly south of London over the higher ground, 3 to 4 centimetres of snow showing up here. And then as we play into Thursday and Friday, remember that system coming in from the Atlantic. And yeah, I say, showing up north, just north of the London area, a good 12 to 14 centimetres of snow. So again, like I say, I think the ECMWF tends to be overcooked, but certainly that would be a very impressive snow event, really, for a good part of the UK, as well as Ireland's a little bit more marginal. I think slightly less cold the further west you go over Ireland and even Northern Ireland, and a very solid snow cover across Scotland, particularly north of the Central Belt, but even across the higher terrain of the southern uplands, so parts of Lanarkshire, Ayrshire, into the Borders region, Dumfries and Galloway, we may start to see a reasonably good covering of snow starting to show up. Northern England as well, I think we could see some decent amounts of snow. And then this is as we move out to a week from now. Notice here that we lose quite a lot of the snow, which is quite interesting. I did say that I think the cold spell will linger through to about the middle portions of this month. I'm still standing by that idea with regards to the overall pattern. So let's move over to the Met model here regarding the coming days to come. And in terms of snow depth, let's have a quick look and see what it's showing. And then I want to look at the temperature projections as well here, because I do think we've got some notably cold weather to come over the course of this week. Chilly days, ice days, as well as that double digits below freezing in several areas. So this is the Met model projection for the coming week or so. So this is in the Monday here. Again, nothing through the Central Belt, but it is picking up in some Donegal, for example, some other western counties of the Republic of Ireland, northern portions of Northern Ireland, north of Lough Neagh, if you notice, parts of higher ground Wales, possibly lower levels as well. And then we've got a little area, generally from what the kind of Liverpool area southeastwards towards Essex, some coastal fringes of Norfolk as well, picking up on some snow also. Continue to play through here. This is in the Tuesday and Wednesday. Notice here that we're starting to see more snow showing up across parts of central, eastern, northern England, southern Scotland. Central Belt still kind of losing out a wee bit. This is as we move towards the middle portions of the working week, and then that system comes in from the west, and it looks as if there's a higher threat of snow through central, southern Scotland, northern England as well. And we'll continue to see high totals, especially over higher ground, but not exclusively across the central and north Highland, Aberdeenshire region, Grampian. And then as we move towards the end of the week, we're starting to lose that possible snow cover across more southern areas. Let's have a look at the temperatures then off the model, and then we'll look at some current temperatures, and then look at some global stuff as well, because I'm conscious of the time. So play it through. This is during the course of tonight. Remember, this is off the Met model here. So again, pretty much across the board, it is sub-freezing. Where you get the winds dropping off, you will see the temperatures get close to minus 10 Celsius, even without snow cover. With snow cover, down in the double figures below freezing, I think, is a pretty good call here. This is into the day tomorrow morning. You've got widespread. So we've already seen temperatures minus 6, minus 7 Celsius, even through the Midlands, parts of south central England, Benson, minus 9.6. East Anglia, minus 6, minus 7 Celsius. And this is come 9Z tomorrow morning. We've got widespread minus 4, minus 5, even in towns and cities. Colder than that in rural areas. Then through the course of tomorrow, we are not getting above freezing in several spots, possibly even across parts of England and Wales as well, by the way. It's not just Scotland, it's also across the broad area. And then as we progress through later tomorrow evening, wouldn't be surprised that parts of Aberdeenshire, for example, drop into the minus double digits. Northern England as well. Even parts of Midland England as well could see temperatures of minus 10 Celsius during the overnight period. And remember, it's in between weather systems where you get these clear slots and you get favourable conditions for some notably cold temperatures. So it's not really, there we go, there's the first real threat of double digits below freezing, and this is the back half of Wednesday. So the middle portions of the week it's showing up -11 there, up into the North Highland region, as well as Central Highland, Grampian, somewhere between Aviemore and Braemar, down the Dalwhinnie, for example, could see temperatures into the double figures below freezing. But really, for true extreme cold, you need to really have a nice area of high pressure to build in over the top of this snow cover, and we're not really necessarily seeing that. But I think there is going to be pockets where we see some notably cold conditions. Let's have a quick look then at current conditions. We did see the first -40 up in Scandinavia this morning. There was a location in Sweden that hit -40 for the first time this season. These are the current temperatures then as of 16:30 UTC. And most areas, a couple of 2s and 3s showing up just to the north of the Isle of Wight. So Hampshire region, Dorset. We've got temperatures just above freezing. Also down into the southwest corner of England here. So parts of Devon and Cornwall, temperatures are slightly milder. Also that southwest corner of Ireland. But generally speaking, we're talking around about freezing, if not a few degrees below. Factor in that breeze then, and you can see that we are notably cold out there. It feels pretty bone chilling out there. -9, -10. We've got -22 wind chill at on Kernwell. We've got -21 at Cairngorm. We've got -10 at Loch Liscarnock. -15 at the Bulick Naba. Even up in Stornoway, wind chill feeling rather raw. And down in the South Uist, we're talking about -6s for wind chill. And even where it's slightly less cold, you're talking about a degree or two above with the rail field, -6, for example, in Norwich with the wind chill. So looking at Europe then, in terms of the temperatures, and we are talking -20s, -30s in Celsius. We still are holding on to a -40 air temp in this location of Western Sweden at this hour, and quite cold across most of the continent. Big contrast over Turkey, by the way, -30 in the Far East. Big country, it has to be said, but we are talking mid to low teens, positive figures on the west coast of Turkey. So big contrast between 12 to 15 Celsius this morning, while we had in the far east of the country -30 Celsius. We've obviously got higher ground, big snow cover as well, especially near the Black Sea in recent days as well, which help refrigerate the air. Looking at the weather obs network then, we've had the coldest temperatures and the coldest spell of temperatures in the interior of Alaska since the mid-1970s, believe it or not, where we had temperatures for several days on end not getting above -40 in Fairbanks, Alaska, which is pretty incredible. And current temperatures look like this here. We've got a -44 at Fairbanks Fort Wainwright station, and then if you cross the border into the Yukon of Canada, you're talking about temperatures down to -48.7 at Dawson in Yukon at the minute here. So if we zoom out, we can see how cold the temperatures are, and this is the core of coldest air over North America. That cold has spread southeastwards over Canada into the northeastern United States here through the Great Lakes, where we've seen record-breaking snow in recent times, but incredibly mild temperatures as a consequence of the cold. So we've got -40s in the northwest of Canada and Alaska. We've got -40 Celsius and -30 Celsius in Scandinavia. We've got a very strong block of mild high pressure that is allowing the trough to drop into North America, drop into Europe. And as a consequence, we're talking about some incredibly mild temperatures along the Greenland coast here. So look at this here, widespread 5 to 10 Celsius. Now, granted, yes, it's along the west coast. It's right along the shoreline here. But even still, that is incredibly mild conditions down the western side of Greenland. And this has been the story now for the past few days. Even across parts of northeastern Canada, it's also been mild, associated with that area of high pressure. And look at how far north that extension of positive figures are, you have to go all the way up, well into the Arctic region of coastal Greenland to start picking up on sub-freezing temperatures. And it's also cold across Iceland at the minute as well. But I want to just quickly show you, this is a live look. It's obviously the overnight period in Fairbanks, Alaska. Temperatures currently minus 44 Celsius. And this is a notable, a generational cold spell that has not been observed. I think the last time we had real cold like this is probably 2000, I think it is, which is quite interesting. So that is that. Let's have a quick look then. This is the current view from Fort William in Loch Arbor, West Highlands, Scotland. Beautiful clear sky, as you can see here, and some light snow on the ground. So beautiful scene there. Current temperature minus 1.7 Celsius. Let me just see what else here. This is a current view off Lake Baikal in the Siberia region of Russia. So again, plenty of snow on the ground, plenty of cold conditions. We've not actually looked at the current temperatures in Russia. Let's have a quick look at that. Let's zoom out and see what the temperatures are like over in Siberia. We've obviously got milder conditions the further south you go over the hemisphere. Yeah, we've got a minus 50 showing up here. And that is normal for this region at this time of the year. We're in the heart of winter now. We do have upper minus 40s to around minus 50 in several locations across Russia. It's been exceptionally mild, it has to be said, across parts of Mongolia, Kazakhstan, into Central Asia as well. It has been unusually warm for the time of the year. This is regions that would typically see notably cold conditions. Let's play a video here and see what the folks of the Yukon are talking about with regards to this recent cold spell. I think it's been one of the coldest Decembers, by the way, just going at the end of last year for the Yukon region of Canada.
The Yukon, what do you expect?
Yukon facing extreme cold and wind chill that could reach negative 55 degrees. Some residents are being told to prepare for the possibility of rolling blackouts.
Got propane last night. The house was 8 degrees yesterday. It's 14 this morning when we left. So it's on its way up.
Officials say the territory's power grid is already near capacity, and residents should have a 72-hour emergency kit ready to go.
If we found that the strain on the electricity system were to continue, we'd be having conversations like this where we're asking Yukoners to be mindful of when they are using electricity use.
Whitehorse's mayor says the city is ready if those outages happen.
We have a number of facilities like the Canada Game Centre. They're well prepared to take in individuals, these warm shelters.
Parts of the prairies are also being hit with the extreme cold, but the challenge here for many people is this snow. Much of Alberta is going to get 10 to 15 centimeters of snow by Christmas morning.
This is obviously a slightly older video. We have seen parts of Ontario, Canada, seeing record-breaking snowfall in recent times. And in fact, it was Ben Enty there. Ben was saying about how northeastern Canada has seen some big-time snowfall. Good afternoon to Ben as well. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. And he is spot on with regards to that. We've also seen some parts of upstate New York, so not quite New York City, but up towards the Great Lakes. Winds coming in from a northwesterly direction. Big-time snow. That the snowfall can be enhanced as that cold Arctic air blows across the relatively warm Great Lakes. Similar ideas, sea effect snow, whether it be what we have seen in recent days here in the north of Scotland, parts of Japan see some of the biggest snow anywhere on the planet when you get these winds, Arctic air winds, moving across warm bodies of water. And it's the same with the Great Lakes. This is the prime time when they haven't quite frozen over that you open the door, and we've been seeing 20, 30, even 40 inches, not centimeters, 40 inches of snow, so 2 to 3 feet of snow in parts of the downwind areas of the Great Lakes in recent times. But we've been seen a slight ease off in the temperatures across the Canadian Yukon, but the cold has kind of regenerated again in that part of the world. This was the scenes, by the way, moving back towards the UK. This was the scene here coming out of North Yorkshire. This is between Whitby and Middlesbrough in recent days here. This is a video here from Robert Townsend. Check this out. So not just exclusively Scotland or the Birmingham area, but we've also seen some significant disruptive snow across northeastern portions of England. Just obviously it's a 12-minute video, but we'll look at some of the conditions and then we'll move on from there then. Good evening to Richard Shaw as well. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. It's good to see you. So yeah, that was the scenes between Whitby and Middlesbrough there. I think it was over the last couple of days actually, and yeah, like I say, we are going to see more scenes like that in the coming days to come. So I just want to show this video here: record-breaking snowfall in the northeast. Let's play and see what this video. This is from CNY, so Central New York, Central.
Now, speaking of the snow, Sandy Creek was one of the harder hit communities in Oswego County. Our Brandon Roth had a chance to talk with some of the neighbors there who spent the morning shoveling out their driveways, taking the near historic snowfall in stride.
Residents on Lake Street in Sandy Creek woke to the sound of snowblowers this morning and snow. Lots and lots of snow.
We haven't had this much in a long time, at one time.
Nearly 4 feet of snow fell in Sandy Creek, burying this Oswego County town in so much snow, Eli McGregor had a hard time getting to his snowblower.
You don't even have a snowblower, just use the shovel?
Well, I do have a snowblower, but I gotta get to it. So, it's easier just to shovel for now. I'm used to it.
So much snow fell here in Sandy Creek, side roads like this one still aren't plowed, and you can see street signs are almost completely covered in snow.
Yeah, it hasn't been like this in a good 5 years. So this is the worst I've seen it in 5 years.
Joe Norton had his own special strategy for dealing with all this snow. He had his wife out snowblowing.
I'm telling her where to go.
That's gonna, you're gonna hear about it later.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Still, this is Oswego County, and it is winter, and folks like John Gibbs are taking it all in stride.
I'm used to it. It happens. Comes over.
So yep, Oswego County, New York, seeing some mega amounts of snowfall. So temperatures, like I say, in Alaska dropping. In terms of Fahrenheit, -60s have been achieved. In terms of Celsius, -53, I think, was achieved. Now, let me see what the current temperatures are here at Markland Weather HQ right this minute, -2.3 Celsius, and with a little bit of a drop in the wind, I think the temperatures will come down pretty hard. Okay, so let me just see here. This was a tweet here. This was, I think, yesterday. Even colder in Alaska. So the coldest temperatures, North Pole, Alaska, recording -63 Fahrenheit, which is -52.8 Celsius. And so yeah, the coldest air in the North American continent is over Alaska. Now remember, back in December, the temperature dropped to -55.7 Celsius, which was the lowest in Canada in the month of December since 1975, and I believe overall it was the coldest since 1999 in Canada, if memory serves me correctly. Let me just see here if there's anything else I can show. So yeah, like I said, parts of Nunavut territory, unusually mild temperatures, and come with that can sometimes come heavy snowfall, but very high temperatures. This was only 21 hours ago, this tweet. So again, big contrast between record warm, record cold. We're getting it all at the minute here for second time in 4 days. Very high temperatures, upwards of 6 Celsius in parts of Nunavut territory, which is pretty crazy stuff. Grace Fjord recording temperature above freezing, which is a new monthly record for January in this part of the world here. Temperatures close to minus 40 in parts of Turkey. This was, I think, yesterday morning. So parts of Turkey and Western Armenia seeing temperatures close to minus 40 Celsius over recent times. And like I said, we did see minus 40 for the first time in Scandinavia this winter. So that is that. Let me just see in terms of Jesse Farrell's tweets here. So yeah, just trying to check here with whether there was anything that I could show that was of interest. Juneau, Alaska recorded record snowfall, which actually has been sinking boats in the harbour due to the weight of snowfall. So snowfall inside 1 week in Juneau, Alaska measured 46.8 inches, which is pretty incredible actually. Now, this is a very snowy part of the world anyway. Get weather systems coming in off the Pacific. You've got the cold air in place, and you can get these epic amounts of snowfall. Yeah, over the course of a week, on December 30th, for example, we've seen well over a foot of snow. The day before that, we're seeing in excess of a half a foot of snow, and that mounted up over the course of that period to 46.8 centimetres. Ontario snow, let's see here. Record snow. Let's see here quickly. So the Timmins area of Ontario, Northern Ontario today, in my hometown Timmins, Ontario, after a record 60 centimetres of snow fell over just a few days. Some people's homes were completely covered. Ploughs were making headway today at least. Mother Nature wasn't fooling around. And this is the snow piles that have been left behind by that record-breaking snowfall here. So that is that. Look at this here. Canyons of snow carved out along the sidewalks. Isn't that crazy? So I was planning to talk about the UK in 2025 being a record warm year, but we've essentially ran out of time. So what I'll do is I'll do a European outlook that includes that in the next few days. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in looking at a little bit more detail with regards to the Met Office stats that have come out for 2025 in terms of the record warm year. So stay tuned, like I said, for that. And I think that is probably about it. It has been a wintry live stream to start off 2026 for sure. I do massively appreciate each and everybody's support. We've got 67 concurrent viewers. I know it was over 80 a while ago, so thank you for that. Be sure to hit that like button before you leave today's stream. And thank you to everybody for your fantastic contribution with the live chat this afternoon as well. We will wait and see what happens regarding the potential snowfall over the next working week or so here. How long the cold spell lasts will remain to be seen. In fact, actually, I've forgotten completely to show you the temperature anomaly chart through the first 4 days of January. This is how the Northern Hemisphere is looking. Look at how warm northern Canada has been away from the Yukon. Northwest Territories and Alaska, where it has been brutally cold to open the year. And we've got this slice from Alaska right the way down into central Canada and the northeastern United States. It's been cold on average across much of the Florida Peninsula here. Very, very warm. It was an incredibly warm beginning to around about the Christmas period. We're talking about exceptional warmth across much of the United States. So there will be a separate video looking at some of the extremes to end the month of December and 2025. But this is how North America is looking through the first 4 days of January. You can see big contrast. That's an incredible anomaly here over the Iqaluit region, Greenland. We've got it also over parts of eastern Colorado, the western portions of Nebraska as well. 10 to 15 Celsius warmer than average. But at the same time, we've got the opposite up across the northwest of Canada, Alaska as well, seeing incredible cold as already discussed. This is Europe then so far, and I think this anomaly is going to increase as we go through this upcoming working week. It's been cold across Scandinavia. Stark contrast to last month. Let's just quickly look at last month. Warmer than average. It was a very mild December. It would have been even milder if it hadn't been that cool end to the year. Let's look at Australia then. In terms of the first 4 days, it's been chilly actually across parts of central Queensland, for example, a little bit across southern Australia. It's been quite hot across much of Western Australia, as well as interior parts of Victoria and New South Wales, also Tasmania, as well as parts of the western South Island of New Zealand has been slightly warmer than average. The rest has been slightly cooler than average. This was the month of December for Australia, largely warmer than average with a few areas of below average. Looking at Asia then, and this is how January has started off. Much of China cold than average, as well as into parts of India as well. A bit of a mixture across Central Asian countries here. Below average across Turkey, where we've seen extreme snow and cold in recent times. Like I said, it was very, very mild across much of Kazakhstan and Mongolia. And much of Russia has actually been above average to start off 2026. Let's move back to the end of 2025. This was how December looked in terms of temperature anomaly, with much of India below average, southwestern China below average. Into parts of Myanmar, for example, and Thailand, it's actually been slightly below average. As you can see here, warmer than average across China, the Koreas, Japan. Moving into Africa then, this is how Africa has started off 2026 so far. So a mixture of warm versus cold than average. The month of December just gone. Northwestern portions of Africa has been quite cold compared to average. In terms of rainfall, we've actually seen more heavy rainfall into the Canary Islands in recent days, and that has led to unusual greening of some of the slopes of Lanzarote, Tenerife, Gran Canaria as well, because we've had quite exceptional wet conditions during the month of November, December, and even to begin the new year as well. It's been unusually wet in this part of the world, and it's been colder than average, as you can see here, across much of the northwest of the African continent. Looking at South America then, and Brazil has been a standout in terms of warmer than average over the last 4 days. We've seen exceptional heat across parts of Argentina, southern Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, etc. Daytime temperatures knocking the door of 40 Celsius. Overnight temperatures record warm, mid to high 20s for minimums. This is how the month of December looked. So slightly below average up towards Peru. Western, I get mixed up between Uruguay and Paraguay, but that region here has been slightly below average. Much of Brazil has been largely warmer than average, especially the interior regions of the country as well. So that is that, I think. I hope you've enjoyed your first live stream of 2026. And I hope you're all well. Ben Indy saying Morocco had a lot of snow in the mountains this December. Yep, and that was true as well, Ben. Some big snowfall across the Atlas Mountains of Algeria, for example. Cold again for Australia, says Ben. Good evening to our very own Gavin Partridge. Gav's Weather Vids, it's good to see you, my friend. I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. First Mark Live I've been able to catch up for about 19 years. Not to worry, my friend, I do appreciate that you're busy. Kevin Barber having a good laugh at that one, I think. So yeah, how are you getting on, Gavin? I hope you're doing well, my friend. I'm not working too hard these days. So let's call it a day at that. That is right around the hour mark that we've been live. So check out some of the recent uploads on the channel. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and also more importantly, hit the subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. The channel continues to grow slowly but surely, and there is certainly a lot of weather to come over the coming days. So exciting times if you like snow and cold, and hopefully we'll see some more impressive snow in the coming days as well across other parts of the UK that have not seen snow just yet. Thank you very much to the moderators for your support again, not just for today's live stream, but in streams going by also. It is very much appreciated. Thank you to everybody as well for tuning in. Thank you to Chris at Braemar, Ballot and D-Side and Donside Weather for your kind donation as well. It's very generous of you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you with the European Outlook come tomorrow evening. Bye-bye.